All right.
Tell me when to go.
Let's go.
Oh, wait. Oh, well. Hey, start the show. It's fine. I'll
Oh,
fix it later.
okay. All right. Uh, we'll do it live, I guess. Okay. So, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 132 of Sonic Talk. I am your host, Knuckles87, and with me today are our tech genius extraordinaire GX.
It's too hot for technology. I want to go back to the garage where I have a table saw and a miter saw, and that's about it.
GX, you know that's technology, right?
I want to build our overlays out of lumber. Can I make them out of
Okay.
2x4s?
No, you cannot.
Darn.
But you could learn like more code or something, probably. Also, we have our local other guy, Shigs. Say hi, Shigs.
I want our online to be just a bunch of cups and strings just everywhere.
I'm pretty sure that would be very unreliable.
It might be more reliable than our normal tech setups.
um, in any case, honestly, even I'm feeling a little out of it right now. Like not having that intro is a little weird. But regardless, we need to press on. So I'm going to try to get my energy going. And Mario Kart World is a game we have all played.
Yep, we sure
We
have.
have.
Unfortunately, we have not played it together, much to my disappointment. But we have played it individually. And it's pretty fun.
Don't oversell it, my dude.
And for the next game, we'll say no. Yeah, I love, just like everybody else, I love the knockout tour. That is absolutely fun. And that's the one you can play online. That's if you just want something to play a real quick, round of it's to the point you really don't mind if you lose, as long as you're
So
not,
I mind if
in
I mind
20
if I
in
lose.
20th place,
I don't want
But
to
if
get
I make
knocked
it
out
to fourth
early.
place, I'm gonna say if I make it to fourth place, I'm happy. If 20th, I'm not
Yeah.
so happy.
But yeah, Knockout Tour is like the one really good mode in this. It's like the one thing that kind of feels like it makes use of the open world, even though it's not actually an open world game. Mode, at least it it makes use of the fact that the tracks are all connected in a way that's interesting, in a way GP really doesn't. And so like that is definitely my preferred way of playing Mario Kart. But beyond that, the tracks are still mostly pretty fun in my opinion. The drifting feels nice. The visuals are very beautiful. You know, it's your standard like what you would expect from a Mario Kart, I think, but without like either a big hook or without just doing what Mario Kart 8 did, which was, Mario Kart 8 perfected classic Mario Kart to a point where the only place they had to go was just somewhere else entirely with this.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I was kind of expecting them to do more with the open world and
That's
rather than just like
so
using it for a mission hub.
yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Is I like this game. I think it's a real solid game. I think they made a good one of those. And the problem is they made a good one of those and that's kind of it. Like they
Yeah.
I for for them going open world with this one, and especially for this being the launch game of the system, for it to be structurally just a pretty standard Mario Kart is probably a bit more of a letdown. It's the kind of thing where I might feel different about it if it was if Donkey Kong was the launch game and Mario Kart World
Oh
was
God, I
1
wish
month
that was the
after.
case.
Yeah, I've been hype on Donkey Kong Bonanza well before that last
Yeah, like from the moment they showed it
Nintendo,
off,
you
I
know,
was all like,
online. That looked. I was hyped for it the moment they showed it.
Because I look
from the moment they showed it off, I was like, man, why can't that be the launch title?
it's not and it's not even me trying to prop up one or put down the other. It's more along the lines of when I think back to the launch of the Switch, the game that defined that launch, even though it wasn't, exclusive to the system,
Breath of
was
the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. This game is not a breath like this. What I wanted, whether it's fair or not, was for Mario Kart World to do for Mario Kart what Breath of the Wild did for Zelda, which is kind of find something new and fresh and interesting to do with it. And they found some stuff, like mechanically speaking, this game is fascinating. There are layers of depth added to it with the inclusion of like the wall driving,
The
the
wall
grinding.
driving and the
Wall
grinding.
grinding, and the trick system, and
You
if
know,
you can
it
master
can
it,
be
it's a lot of fun.
it can
It
be
can really
pretty
help out.
cool, but it's not very user friendly to pull off. If I'm being honest, like what I would give to
Actually,
just
pretty
have
darn
a
good at wall riding, I gotta admit.
what I would give to just have a goddamn jump button, because it is so
You-
hard to jump in this game, because
Uh,
like if you are turning just a little bit, it will register as a drift instead of a jump, and then it's like, okay, I guess I'm not going to try to jump onto that rail then.
yeah, well, you have to be very deliberate with it, but I will say,
Now you gotta, you can hold down LNR for a short time to get a bigger jump if you don't have a flower or a feather.
right?
I'll have to look into that.
I was gonna say feathers are extremely useful for that because you do not.
They are extremely useful if you get them at the right time in the
Yes.
right place, because there are many places where you cannot even, like, there's no place to wall ride or to grind, and so like that feather is just taking up an item slot and it's not really worth saving.
Yeah.
There. I will tell you. You can get up
Well,
to some funny antics with the feather. There have been multiple instances where it's just like, hey, I have a feather stocked. I'm about to hit a big jump. Is like, what if I just did like 20 tricks in a single jump? So I hit the ramp, go full jump, use the feather, and because of the height that my character is at, the game registers that as me being off the track, and Lakitu picks me up in order to put me back on the track because I had jumped too high.
That is one thing that's very annoying. Like they really made Lakitu's range way too strict in this open world game.
Oh, they
you know what? I think they know that, and that's why they at default they have smart steering on instead of off.
Oh, there are so many shenanigans you could get up to in Super Nintendo Mario Circuit that they do not want you to do.
Yeah.
But I did finally try the free roaming a few days ago, and like it didn't really grab me like I was hoping it would, in part because
It needs more to it.
I had more trouble than I thought I would just finding the missions. Like I was driving around everywhere and I found maybe like 2.
They're not as plentiful or as obvious as you would initially think they would be. It kind of feels
like there are 394 of these, so I figured, okay, these have got to be everywhere. But
yeah.
No.
It's
Well, see, I will say P-switches are fairly plentiful. And if you look hard enough, you could find the princess coins. It's the question mark blocks, on the ground that are really pain in the butt to find.
I wasn't finding P-switches either. That's what I was talking about.
Really? I've come across them all the time.
It is. I have enjoyed trying to trying to find, because okay, so there's the P switches could be anywhere and they could be anything. The princess coins are kind of in weird, conspicuous, I don't know how you gonna get here locations. And then the question block spots are very specifically divvied up so that there are 5 on every track. And that's probably been the most fun I've had with it, is just trying to look at these tracks inside and out, trying to figure out where they want me to go. I think it's probably a good way to really learn the ins and outs of the track, and hopefully like figure out, okay, where could you shave off seconds? Where could you find obscure wall grinding locations to maybe find a shortcut or go in an unusual path, or even
Yeah, and
weirder,
I understand why they.
or even
I understand why they do that because they want you to be better at the main game.
or
What I really need in this game is a proper cross country racing
well,
thing
that's
that like just
That's
lets you go across the open world and like alter and like change like the track you're going to you're going for, like in the midst
yeah,
of the larger race,
like
you know, like because I enjoy my road trips.
like
And
the idea that this game has traditional Grand Prix feels nonsensical. Like it doesn't
yeah.
feel like it fits with how it should be designed. It feels like the standard of this should be not even just like the knockout race, but what if for the Grand Prix it shifted? They put together all of these paths, and you can actually see the paths they put together from track to track to track that they don't even utilize
Mhm.
whenever you go do a single race. Because when you set up a single race, you can either just do a race on a specified track, or you can specify, I want to do a race from this track to this adjacent track.
But like
yeah,
something
that
that
would
would
be
be
pretty good. Like
cool to
make up your
me
own Grand Prix would be kind of fun.
would be if
But
Exactly.
like you had like just like moments if where the person in the lead could choose a path to go. Like I don't know, the game like highlights 2 separate paths, and the
gee,
person
I
up
don't know of
front picks
any kart
one.
racer it's doing that at the moment.
Yeah, I
But
know that's
anyway,
CrossWorlds, except it's taking place in an open world. But like, it's a good system in my opinion, and like you could use that to like change change races in real time in an open world setting, and that's the kind of thing that I feel like would be pretty cool to see in a game like this, where it's like where like you're going on one big long race, and like you don't get knocked out, and maybe in addition to like competing for placement, you also compete for like points via like tricks and items and stuff.
I
Um,
mean, hell, my take on it is just don't have set Grand Prix, just like set Grand Prix or set paths for Knockout Tour. Just create an like have an ongoing algorithm that are like, okay, this week's tour takes you from this location to this location to this location to this location, where you can go up and maybe compare your scores with friends. The thing is, I'm not describing a thing that doesn't exist. What I'm kind of describing is Mario Kart Tour, the mobile game. That
right, because that's a live service game, so we're like have stuff like that.
But Mario Kart
Uh,
Tour is still
Something like that in open world would be pretty cool.
Mario Kart World or Tour is still one of the most best involved single player ish Mario Kart games, because it does like change week to week what things are being featured. This seems like you wouldn't even really have to do additional work for it. It feels like you could just randomly generate like an infinite number or a near infinite number of knockout tour paths or Grand Prix. Like I don't know why you would have the set Grand Prix, or at least like not have some sort of dynamically generated one
or at the
aside
very
from it.
Or at the very
I-
least, if you're going to have an open world like this, have an area where you can challenge other racers out in the open, like you would on like Burnout Paradise or Forza
yeah.
Horizon.
It,
The
I
fact
do
that
know that you can like access free roaming via online multiplayer, but I'm
it's
assuming that's not a proper racing mode.
no, it's not really like it's just hey, run around, take pictures if you want. That's it feels so weird that free roam is structured the way it is. There's like the my understanding is the totality of things that you can get out of free roam are you can get stickers which are not particularly impactful. You can kind of display one of them on your profile and it
Huh.
gets stuck to your car as a
It's funny they're
decal.
still giving you stickers, even though Miiverse has been dead for like a decade.
And the other half of it is like I think if you get all of the question mark spots that it will unlock mirror mode. But
I
but
heard something about Mirror Bug, yeah.
but a lot of the if you think about the way that they were showing off is like look at all these characters that are in here. Most of the characters that you're going to unlock that aren't costumed versions of the core cast are going to be collected via just Kamek or like randomized Kamek
Yeah,
collections.
that was a disappointment because those additional NPC characters are probably like my favorite addition to the game.
Like
Like
they
my big issue with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was that the cast just felt
the
minuscule,
cast did
and
not
that's
no,
something
the
that they
cast did
didn't.
that is an asinine thing to assert that the cast felt minuscule.
But that is something that they fixed, by the end with the all the additional DLC
No,
content.
no, that
Um,
that was a big cast. Now, whether you like that cast or cared about it, that's up for debate. But that at
it
least
yeah, I'm
has
was
kind of
like
with
it
GX
was
here. It
mostly
had a pretty
copy
good
paste
cast.
clones and
there
babies.
were. Well, no, that's no. You don't get to just dismiss that and say that's not part of the cast. Like, if you want to say Pink Gold Peach is not a real character, maybe I'll argue of that. But it had every Koopaling. It had like it had a couple new versions of the babies, but sure. But
Regardless, I definitely prefer what we're getting here with like stuff like the what are what's that goddamn Delfino Islander called?
Pianta.
The Piantas. I'm very sad that I've not unlocked the Pianta or the Waddle Duck thing yet.
Yeah, it
But yeah,
feels
that's probably my
so weird
favorite part of
because
the game.
structurally there are things that you would do that would make a whole lot of sense for something like this. Like you would make that events in the free roam that you would make it worth it,
Yes.
or carts. Like carts you unlock for every what 100 coins much as you did in 8. It's like why?
Well,
What would be the
everything's
point
for
of that?
stickers. Why don't the Princess Peach coins be the secret costumes you unlock instead of just
They really
Well,
should
grabbing
have
food
made
from
this stuff
Yoshi's?
I
unlockable via
Make
free
it worth
roam.
going to this free roam place instead of it being an afterthought.
now I
Yeah,
I will say this though, like it it hasn't stopped me from actually just going in and spending hours and hours in it. Like even if I am
Well, it's fine for exploring,
yeah,
yeah.
well that's what I like in open worlds. That's what I go to open worlds to do is to
I got bored in free roam pretty quickly.
well keep in mind like I spent 200 hours in Tears of the Kingdom. Like
I mean, like I spent about that long in Breath of the Wild, so it's like if they give you stuff to do, I will play. But I just got bored very
but
quickly,
very specific
Yeah, that's
and
the one thing they don't give you enough to do here,
but very
I think.
specifically like whenever you do actually find the things to do in the game, the missions are pretty decent. They set up some interesting stuff. They use a lot of the different components to put together, small tasks. There was one where it was just, and a lot of them are very structurally similar. Every one of them either involves, hey, pass through these rings or collect a certain number of blue coins. But the path to get there and how they set it up can be rather interesting. Some of them just kind of test your flying capabilities. Some of them test your ability to go from like one grind rail to another grind rail. Some of them are just silly and crazy, like evoking the giant truck to get to somewhere, or the helicopter that you can ride in and pilot
I
around.
was kind of disappointed that I haven't really come across that stuff in the Grand Prix. Is that only in the open world?
I think some of it. I think the truck might be in Knockout Tour, but I don't know if it is also
I've
in.
seen it in Knockout Tour for sure.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
if it's part of the
I
Grand
haven't had any
Prix.
luck with that yet, with like any of those vehicles. Like there are loads of trucks in free roam, so that's where I finally got to drive it.
Yeah, and like free roam. Hey, I may not love this game structurally, but I will still say they built a fantastic world. Like
Yeah.
top
One thing I really like. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say top to bottom. Any complaints I have, none of them are directed towards the track design or the open world design itself. I think it is very well crafted. I think they're fascinating tracks. I think it's fascinating to explore the little alcoves. Like there's so much stuff just in the Boo Cinema that you wouldn't ever encounter in a traditional race. Just places that you can get to on it, places it will take you that are just little fascinating, interesting things for you to find, places that you would go to. And it'd be cooler if they rewarded you and built stuff around that. But I just I can't help but at least compliment, like, no, they built a fantastic world. They just couldn't figure out what to do with that fantastic world.
Well, like for me,
Yeah,
if they don't give me something to do like quickly and easily, then I'm just gonna like not do anything in there. Um,
and
but I
I'm
will
happy
say
to see switches,
I
but
love the presentation of the
yeah,
game. I
the
love the
this
music.
feels like a full complete world, that it's living in, and I like you can go up to the, I think it's Dino Jungle, where you can go way up to the very top of the cliff and just race right off, and you will be falling and falling and falling and falling until you finally splash down to the bottom. No Lakitu, no anything, and
Hmm.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty impressive. I mean, it feels like you could go pretty much anywhere that you see, which I really
That
like.
sounds like stuff I would have enjoyed when I was a teenager. But I will say that I love the music and the visuals. Like this is a very gorgeous game. The characters look great, the tracks look great, the music is amazing. Like
The music is some of the best they've ever had.
Oh, for sure.
like I don't care how good CrossWorlds ends up being. Like Mario Kart World is going to the Mario Kart World soundtrack is going to eat its soundtrack's lunch, no question. I think.
Oh yeah, it's not good. Even based on what they've said, even if the stuff that they've had is work in progress, like the the degree of variety in it, the variety of things that they evoke in remixes, which it is mostly remixes, but it's remixes in
It's really cool
it,
remixes, and
it's
like I think they'll actually like change it. Like you don't get one specific song for one specific
no,
track
no,
every time.
they were pitching this as sort of like a radio DJ mode that they have, where
Ah,
they are, generally speaking, the game will try to dynamically give you music that feels appropriate to the scenario and just queue up the next track after that and the next track after that based on like what's going on.
hmm.
It's
But it's pretty cool too when I can kind of realize, oh hey, this is Super Mario Galaxy, but it's like in a completely different instrumentation, or Super Mario like Odyssey, and that is just and like it's always really cool, and the genres often make it sound more like something a Sonic game would have, which makes like cross what we've heard of Crossworlds OST even more disappointing if I'm being honest.
yeah.
Thing I'm going to add about what I like about the free roam mode is it feels like it's alive, like in the fact that you can follow like a toad or one of the other citizens around who are driving, and just follow them around. They'll eventually stop and park at like a fast food restaurant or something. Or you can follow the bus, and people will just get off and on the bus to their next destination,
Really?
which is just insane. Yes,
Yeah,
you can
I've
follow
heard
the
that
bus,
stuff like that can
and
happen.
it's like they're having their own lives. It's not like they
It's
just fade
it's an immense
away.
amount of detail that they did not need to put in this game, and that I will
Yes.
not personally appreciate.
There were a couple things that I stumbled into. I know I was kind of surprised when it was like, okay, something just appeared as target where it is now having me go chase after something. So like I've done a something against Nabbit. Nabbit's a real SOB to try to chase down and hit. But you can find him in a couple places on the map. Another one is you can find
That's one thing that pisses me off though, is when you grab Nabbit, all you get is coins.
sure.
There's no
Sure.
prize
Well,
for Nabbit.
you get like an achievement-ish thing where you get his sticker, but you can also do the same for like Charge and Chuck. Charge and Chuck will occasionally appear, and basically you chase him down. You will not catch him probably, but he leaves behind shell item boxes, and the idea is basically that you just try to hit him with green shells. But
But
yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I think that I wish it had like 14 or 15 different variations of that just strewn throughout the map to give you to make it feel a little bit more dynamic. That the free roam itself is one of the core highlights.
I will probably check out Free Roam again after I get a trophy on every single GP and knockout.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really worth. I would have gone and done. You should really do all the GP, because that's when the final, Grand Prix mode unlocks, and you can do Rainbow Road, and it is absolutely the best Rainbow Road they've done.
yeah,
It's
I
like
want
an
to check out
epic.
Rainbow Road. I at least need to do that before Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out. Hopefully, now that I've gotten a bunch of Sonic Mobile stuff done, I'll have more time. But for me personally, my big Switch 2 experience has been Cyberpunk 2077, which we might as well transition over to that now, unless you guys had anything else to add.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna give a little surprise. I have played Cyberpunk on Switch as well. I got, which is like the freaking fourth time I've bought this in some form. This game,
well, for
Why?
me, it
because
is only.
I've got it on Stadia originally, and the
Oh,
Xbox and
you at least
PS4
got a
versions I
refund for
got
that one.
for like practically a quarter. It was back when they were either free or like $10.
I got
And then
Cyberpunk 2077 for sale on my PS5 a few years ago, but I never had the time to sit down and play it. And so I figured, like,
oh,
hey, I spent like $20 on that, and this has cross-play. So why don't I
yeah,
just get it on Switch, and maybe I can play it across both platforms, which may still happen. Who knows?
yeah, I beat it originally on Stadia before I got my refund on it because Stadia's shut down for good.
Yeah, thank God they gave out refunds because damn.
Yeah.
But so like for me, yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 was kind of the highlight of the Switch 2 launch for me because like this is the first time I've really dug into it, and I still have technically not gotten to the point where Keanu Reeves has shown up. I think that is coming very soon. I think I'm at the mission. But like
Okay, yeah, I'm just playing because I beat the game originally on either the Stadia or one of the others. I'm playing the expansion pack, which has Keanu Reeves and Idris Elba in it.
I've kind of just spent what time I've had just getting engrossed in the world, and I eventually got to a few points where it's all like, okay, I've had my fun. I'm going to just commit some random acts of violence, and I did that for like a couple of hours. I had some chases from the cops. I had some fights with some random gangs that were going after me. For some reason, I'm assuming they were hitman being sent by some people I pissed off in the story. But regardless, like, I guess did the stuff I usually do in an open world, and like Cyberpunk 2077, like I don't know, like it has this really realistic, visceral feeling to it, which I really appreciate. I love the setting. The setting is gorgeous because it's cyberpunk. It's
Uh,
like Blade Runner.
So I, I
Um,
I want you to clarify though. What do you specifically mean by visceral realistic?
because I don't know, like I'm used to Skyrim where like your character feels very light and
Okay,
very gamey,
you mean
but
you mean specifically in regard to like the physics of movement.
in Cyberpunk, the way the character feels, the way you can the way you can like upgrade them, the way you can like change their HUD, all that stuff, like it all feels like they put in the work to make it feel much more realistic versus
I
your
feel like
typical like
I feel like
first person
yeah,
RPG for
I
me.
might say detailed rather than realistic personally,
Sure.
but sure.
um but regardless, like, and the writing is excellent. Like it is extremely good. The voice acting is very good. The visuals are gorgeous. The animation is great. Like the game is just a beautiful presentation. That again, like my reference point for Western RPGs is Bethesda stuff. So like Elder Scrolls and Elder Scrolls and Starfield, and this feels like a generation above all of that, which
So
I guess
what
isn't flattering for
so I guess
Bethesda.
what would you say makes it different? Like structurally speak, like what is it asking you to do moment to moment? Because a lot of the stuff that you would be doing in a Bethesda open world game would usually involve like, hey, getting involved with various factions, doing various missions for them, completing it, and then occasionally you would move forward on a story. I'm assuming it's at least
Yeah,
somewhat
there's a
structured.
lot of that.
Yeah, structurally, I imagine it would at least be somewhat similar because it's not. It's still
I
an
mean,
open
I'm
world
sure,
game
but
rather than
like
a
I said,
sandbox.
I'm still relatively early in the game, so I'm just talking about the general feel of everything.
Okay.
Um, and like the fact that like, hey, I can actually like just drive a car and explore the city, and the city is like this big massive thing full of skyscrapers and stuff,
Well,
and it's just
that on its
um
own is pretty different than Bethesda ones.
yeah.
They're not really city games. I would almost wonder like how how does this feel compared to like a GTA to you?
I mean, it feels much, I mean, and like I said, it feels much more I guess
Believable?
believable than a GTA. I'm trying not to say realistic again with you. Because GTA again is a very light action game. It's not really a game that strives to like say give its characters weight
Yeah.
in physics
G-
in the same way.
GTA is built around like doing goofy stuff. Like it has it like GTA is a goofy game. They don't always highlight that, but and they
Yeah.
sometimes build it around like, hey, some of these moments are going to be serious or at least, somewhat serious, but broadly speaking, it's supposed to be somewhere between parody and satire depending on how you want to interpret it.
Like just this game being in the first person changes a lot versus GTA, because it's like hey, one thing I did was I just I shot some random poor civilian in the head in their car, and then like if and then like to steal their car, I have to like open the door and reach in and grab them out, and like it and like just that whole animation just feels so extremely cinematic in a way that it just never does in GTA, where everything feels much more like rag dolls and things that don't have any weight. Whereas, like, here everything does feel like it has weight to it. So, like, for me, that is the big difference between this and GTA. Um, Now, like, do you know that the game starts out in the desert outside the city? I don't know if you can explore areas outside of the city or not in like the rest of the game, but like I am looking forward to seeing what else the game's open world has to offer.
Yeah, you can explore outside of the city. Yes,
All
there'll
right,
be there'll
cool.
be
All right,
missions
so there
outside of the
is.
desert.
So it isn't just the city. It's a true open world in that sense. Um, but in any case, I'm looking forward to getting deeper into it. Uh,
Question I have: Have you tried their 40 frames per second mode, which you can only achieve with a 120 hertz screen?
I don't think so. Is that available in portable mode?
Yeah, because portable you can do at 120 hertz. I
I'm
can't do it on my
genuinely.
TV in my bedroom here, but I can do it in my living room because I got a
I
very
know I was
expensive
messing
TV
around
in the
with all
living room.
those settings, but I don't know if I actually used it for Cyberpunk or not.
Uh,
But I should have more to say on future episodes, unless Sonic Mobile takes over my life again. So Shigs, you have been playing stuff on your new Switch too as well.
yep, I've been trying because as soon as I got it, I wanted to try different stuff. So, of course, I did end up getting a Welcome Tour, which it's got ups and downs, mostly downs. It is
S
a lot of it is like homework, the video game, or
okay, I want to ask a question of you because
yeah.
you and I are both the Lego people here, but I more so want to know how much do you have engineer brain? Like, do you feel like when I look at Welcome Tour, the stuff that interests me from what I've heard about it is stuff like, hey, we designed this feature of the system to be like this, and it's made out of this material, and it works like this, and that's that's the stuff that I find fascinating personally. Like,
Yes,
do you have
I am like
Yeah.
100% certain you are the only person here with engineer brain.
Yeah, they have that in there for sure, but I don't need a quiz after because that makes me feel like when I'm at retail work and I'm doing computer training and they give me a video and then some stuff to read and then they want to quiz me for what I just read. I don't I need that, but I do appreciate the demos and them showing you what how your different tech is. When I get to the switch to Pro Controller, they're showing you how the sticks stop at the membrane instead of at the tip of the circle. So, like, here, I want to show you something kind of cool. So this is, let's see if you can hear this. This is my Xbox controller tapping up.
no,
Can you hear that?
not in the
Oh,
slightest. You see, Discord has audio filtering.
oh, yeah, it just said excessive.
Curses.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, this is not going to
So yeah.
work.
Anyway, yeah, your joystick will clack both on your like Xbox controller or your Switch One, but not really on your Switch Two controller because the membranes hit right before them. It feels so soft because that's they engineered it like that. And one of the cool things they did with the Joy Cons, and I guess with the Switch Two is you can do the rumbles. They're showing how fast they can vibrate to the point where they can make sounds. They can make a coin sound. You can make the one up sound coming through just the vibrations of the little rumble pack inside of your Joy-Con controllers, which is really neat. And those are just in the demo stuff. The stuff where it's mini games can be hit or miss. Like at one point, the problem is you constantly have to either remove your Switch from the base or switch controllers that you're using to do some of the mini games. Like there's one where you have to do like Twister on the screen. You have to take out the screen and put all 10 of your fingers onto the screen in some form, but done in Twisters as a mini game. Then they have a more challenging version of that if you get enough medals from walking around. And that's another thing. It's like a really boring like mall where you're just constantly walking around. talking to other people. You can't go from section to section as free, like willy nilly. You have to look
Oh.
at every little bit of the section of tech you're on. If you're on you start off on the left switch Joy-Con, and you have to walk around the circumference to look at every single thing. Like, oh, here's up, the D-pad part that goes up, D-pad part that goes down. There's a little podium that'll stick out, and you have to press A for so it can explain it real quick. And if you do all that, then you can go on to the next thing. You don't have to do the quizzes or the mini games or demos. But the fact that you have to do all this extra work just to walk around, because you might just be curious on what the camera does, or what there's even a section for the steering wheel add-on, that what that does, but it doesn't do that right away. I will say there are a ton of mouse uh, demos to try out, the little
Huh.
mini games. Some of which are interesting, like the one with the UFOs and everything, with the stars dropping and that. And
I haven't
there's
had
ones where it's
occasion to use
just
the
tech
mouse
where
yet.
where where it's mouse and rumble, so you can do like a saw or do some other stuff. There's a mini game. The one I really like for some reason. Oh no, it's not on the. For some reason there's a mouse mini game on the Pro controller option. I'm like, but why don't you show features of the Pro controller in a mini game instead of the mouse off the Joy-Con again?
Hmm.
But actually, the best one I found was when you attach your Joy-Con 2s together on the grip. But they still have to take one off and use it as a mouse. But it has a first-person little shooter game where you're shooting at balloons and stuff. But you have one hand on the grip with the left Joy-Con, and the other with the right Joy-Con as a mouse. And the accuracy is just perfect. It's so good. And I do like she said, they show you the education of what goes into those mice and everything. Like there is a tiny little camera inside of there that's only like 4 by 4 pixels. But as soon as any tiny little thing changes, it can catch up on that and
Yeah.
instantly
It
be able to do that.
yeah, it's like an optical mouse. Like it's
Hmm.
super low resolution, but it reads at an incredibly high rate.
Right. And I do like the one mini game where you have to play all of Super Mario Brothers level 1 on a tiny an exact as it is in 4K. So I played that.
Yeah, that sounds
Uh,
like something that'd be
my
right up
brother and
GX's alley.
Oh
sister-in-law
yeah.
were doing a show, and so I got to play for about 5 days in the living room on our big, LED TV with the 120 hertz and all that. So I was playing. I was standing almost right to the screen playing Super Mario Brothers like that, because 4K, that is super tiny. The one that I'm like, why would you ever do this, is find the 4 squiggly pixels on the white pixels on the screen, and they're just one of the 2000 or whatever 4K pixels, and you have to find it squiggly.
It's a
That's near
literal pixel
impossible.
hunt. Perfect.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, there is some fun to be had, but it's also a lot of walking around. There is a map so you can do shortcuts once you've been to some place. And
Oh,
there's a lot
okay,
of,
good.
this is what this is what that is. But
Yeah,
it doesn't have the fun and the better way to educate you on your new system that, you know, Astrobot's Playroom did. Astrobot's
yeah.
Playroom did it so much better. And Astrobot itself feels like the most Nintendo thing that PlayStation's ever come out with. So I'm shocked that they put out this kind of flat thing where the only really
I
entertaining thing is the demos and the mini games, and maybe a little bit of the, if you're
And
interested in the education
I
on how things
I'm
work.
not.
and this is normally where I would tell you, well, it's free, but it's not. It's ten
I
Yeah,
dollars. So
that's another
obviously
thing. This
I can't
should
say
have
that.
been
so
free.
so
If this was free, I wouldn't be complaining near as much
so I
as if it had been paid.
I want to point out, like, you could say like, oh, it should have been free or anything. Like this isn't uncommon for Nintendo. Like we had our what is it, Game and Wario, which was most like Game and Wario. That's a game of primarily like tech demo type activities. We had our 1-2 Switch, which was a game of primarily tech demo activities. Like this is something that Nintendo does. The only thing kind of is like they don't have it as a $60 game that they sometimes have it as. And this isn't me excusing it or saying it should be free or it shouldn't be free or anything. This is just me saying like it's not unusual for Nintendo to release a product like this that primarily exists as like, hey, we compiled tech demos. It's just that this is probably one of the most uh, on the surface, hey, these are tech demos than a lot of the other things that they've put out. It's not quite like a Nintendo Land per se. Nintendo Land is one that I know people authentically like, that feels probably at least a little bit closer to what the things that people liked out of Astrobot. But this
Yeah,
is pretty
I'd say
normal
that.
for Nintendo to release a product like this. I'm kind of hesitant to make the Astrobot comparison, if only because literally nobody released a game like Astrobot. Like that like maybe Nintendo Land I could draw the comparison, but I've never heard the same enthusiasm for Nintendo Land as I have Astrobot. It's not as if Microsoft is releasing something on par with that anytime they release new hardware. I I in that sense,
All
like,
right, well, they just
yeah.
don't even bother.
Well, no, it's like they don't feel like it's necessary. Like I don't think they have a product to be that. I don't think they have a product to be interested in that. This is certainly something I'm interested in. Like it's $10. I don't care if it's $10. $10 is not really that big of an entry cost for something that seems like a curiosity to me. I can understand, hey, if someone does not think it's going to have a lot of value, then yeah, it probably is not gonna have that much value for you. I just think that like it shouldn't have the Astrobot comparison over its head, because I think Sony would struggle to really double down on Astrobot. I think if they knew people were going to love Astrobot as much as they do, they probably would have charged for it. Like I don't think this was a goodness out of their heart type of release. I
Well,
think
eventually they did. Like once they made
yeah,
a full version, you know.
yeah. When they made like a proper platformer, sure.
So anyway,
So,
outside of that, I have been really impressed with how some of the older games have worked with the Switch too. You know, and saw a lot of comparison videos and in some cases free updates for a lot of them. Like I ended up buying a few older games that I either played through and really enjoyed, like Super Mario Odyssey, which looks fantastic in 4K and solid 60 FPS, and one that I don't remember playing. I must have played the different versions. Was Pokemon Scarlet, because I watched video of it, and the difference between the original ugly Switch version and this version are kind of night and day as far as the
hmm,
crispness of the resolution. Uh, it's constantly 60 frames per second. People aren't walking at 2 to 10 frames per second in the background anymore. So
Yeah,
I decided, you know what, this would be a good time to jump into a Pokemon game, which I haven't done before. And I'm enjoying it so far. I played Arceus, and it's a little flatter and blander than Arceus is. It's more of your starter Pokemon game.
it is a mainline Pokemon entry in the way that Arceus is. Uh, I hesitate to call it spin-off, but it is at least a bit more
It is
spin-off
technically a
than
spin-off, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So like, I normally play the Pokemon spin-offs. I rarely play the
Well, it's a
main line. So this is my first main line in a while.
the difference being like the reason why Arceus is kind of a weird case scenario and why A to Z or ZA or whatever it is coming up is going to be a little bit different is because they are at least still built off of the core Pokemon battle engine, which is honestly like I don't care if I don't particularly love the recurring structure of like get 8 gym badges, but I do love the Pokemon battle system. So yeah, I'm very excited to pick this up myself whenever I have time and actually play through start to finish. I wasn't initially put off by the graphics, but it just time makes fools of us all, and I never got very far in it. So I'm curious
Yeah, I
what you
just don't
think.
think I played it before. I think I might have played the Pikachu one on a GameFly rental. Yeah, what I do enjoy about the graphics is that now when you have high grass and stuff, you can see the more tiny Pokemon kind of in the distance that you might want to grab. I do like to just toss a ball right at them and it instantly goes out there to do fights. I like that they're visible in the grass, so you don't constantly have to do random Pokemon battles if you don't want to. The pop-in's not too. There is some pop-in, but it's not too bad. My main gripe is the graphics. Haven't been updated too much outside of higher resolution,
Oh
but
sure, yeah. Even in the original,
but textures.
version, like texture, you can tell really clearly like how small the texture repeating is. Like it gets very clear. Just
Well,
like
I mean, when they zoom in on a Pokemon being caught in the ball, and you have just this flat texture of what's supposed to be grass, and it looks something like it's out of the Nintendo 64. That's what I have an issue. In fact, the game itself is pretty unimpressive graphically. I mean, it looks like a 4K PlayStation 2 game at
yeah,
times.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot
Outside
of
of
that
that,
game was just the introduction of the big world and the quality of life improvements. Like I
it's one of the
yeah.
first. It's one of the first big World 3Ds I think they did, or the first.
It is the first one where they have one large contiguous world. They started to explore some of that stuff in Sword and Shield. And but that was still kind of divided into specific designated areas in a way that this is not. I know this one also has the multiple campaign paths, I believe.
Yeah, I do like that they give you the cover Pokemon that's on the cover pretty much right away, which is kind of nice. But one thing that's going to find kind of addicting is that when you catch a Pokemon, the Pokemon index comes up and it's like a little library with a book of the character with an exact number, and I'm like, oh god, this is going to get into my collecting feelings. But then again, you have to get both to get all of them, and I'm not planning on that. So I think that's going to relieve some of the collection obsession within me.
How far have you gotten in it so far?
Not very far. It's just my second day at the school.
Okay, so you probably haven't even gotten to the point yet where it's like, here's the 3 different things that you could do.
No, I don't
Okay.
think I have.
Okay. Yeah, then yeah, you're real early and things will hopefully open up soon. I
Hmm.
this is the kind of thing where I would love to hear a follow-up from you next week to kind of see like where you land on it cuz it
Yeah, I'm only about 3 or 4 hours in.
yeah.
Not too far.
Okay. Yeah. I made it a bit farther than that on my initial play before I kind of dropped off for a different game. So I that's kind of why my interest was all over the place. I was thinking like, oh yeah, you go do and you do this thing and you do that, and like, no, you haven't even gotten there yet. So you'll see. You'll all see.
Hmm. It sounds like you're making a threat.
Aren't I always? It's not a threat. It's a promise.
Okay, that's good to know.
All right, that's
um,
it for me.
All right, GX. Donkey Kong. The Kong Days of Summer.
Yeah, hey, anxiety hits like an MFer. And when anxiety hits, I tend to lean back into my comfort food. And one of my many comfort foods are Donkey Kong games, Donkey Kong Country games, typically. Uh, basically, basically, this started around May. I was looking for things to play on the lead up to the launch of the Switch 2. Led me to, play Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Apparently, I had gone through a full Funky Kong playthrough on the Switch version some time ago. So I used it up as an opportunity to just go through the game without that, just to go through. Led me to kind of slide into doing a full retro achievement run of Donkey Kong Country 2. Uh, that was a fun and weird experience. Retro achievements, I'm sure most of you already know. Like, do you guys do retro achievements at all?
No.
Not really.
Not at all. For
Nope.
for as much as like enthusiastic about like I'm gonna play retro games on my Steam Deck that you guys have been.
Well, yeah, but I don't do that for achievements.
Okay. Retro. So I guess I want to go over retro achievements then. Retro Achievements is an online, like, fan-maintained service if you play games through...
Okay, yeah, I don't have that. To be honest, I didn't even know about this till you started talking about it.
Yeah, Retro Achievements, just over at retroachievements.org, is a service that you can apply to. It's all fan-managed. It's a big development community that builds and maintains this. Some of the bigger emulators can be plugged into it, and the idea is if you have retro achievements activated, it continuously reads your RAM state to determine, like, hey, did you pop off something that is pertinent to one of the achievements on it? So in Donkey Kong Country 2, I would describe its level of level of achievement design somewhere in like the mid range, like the mid era of Xbox 360 achievements. So you're going to have ones that are 100% built on like, okay, you made it past level 1. You made it through world 1. You made it through world 2. You beat the game. You 102%ed the game. You did all of that on hard. And then you'll have the more weirder esoteric stuff. Some of them for DKC2 were quite nasty, or certainly at least challenging. Some of them were weird and crazy that just required me to go through like 20 times through a level to try to initiate. Like, one of them was as basic as like, hey, get through this minecart track. There's a minecart track where you're chased by a ghost. Hey, get through it without hitting any of the ghost timer barrels that would like instigate the ghost hitting you, and just do that perfectly. There was a really challenging one where it was purely get through this entire level, which is mostly made out of small platforms and large climbable reeds, without killing a single enemy. And for ones like that, a lot of it is just built around, okay, I need to learn how to get through this segment to accomplish that. And if you do, you get an achievement. And then, like, the final most challenging one for me was like, hey, beat the entire game in 1 hour, 20 minutes. And for that one, it required like studying up, figuring out where all of the warps in the game are, and just kind of appreciating the game through different lenses, through the ways in which you kind of do have to be to kind of not just complete it 100%, but then also figure out how to tackle stages in a different way. It required me to do like I think 3 full playthroughs of the game. One of which was a 102% playthrough. A lot of retries on the really difficult bosses. Like one of the biggest pain in the butt ones was the secret final boss shoots this reverse controls gas at you, and the achievement is get hit with that and then beat him. Which means basically,
oh wait, so that doesn't go away?
no, it doesn't go away unless you get hit.
Oh, that is cruel.
It is.
Oh wait, unless you get hit and lose one of your characters, I guess.
Right. Except part of the achievement is that you can't get hit either.
Okay.
So it was a heck of a thing. I think I got fed up with it, and what I decided to do instead was just go into the emulator and swap my left and right controls. So I just beat it. But
GX, isn't that cheating, GX?
look, a lot of what retro achievements want you to do is just figure out, okay, how can you accomplish this? The only difference is that it really offers you are you can either take a more standard path with them, where it's like, okay, you can still use all the stuff for the emulators and just go for the achievements that way. For this run, I wanted to go hardcore, and hardcore is just a format of the achievements where you can't use rewind, you can't use save states, you would just play it as you would mostly have access to what you would on more traditional hardware. The only difference being like you could still access fast forward, because that's not really a player aid, it's just like a, patience thing, whether or not you want to get through it. I had a lot of fun with it. I feel really good about going through that game as much as I could. And then it just left me feeling like, okay, I don't think I want to go straight into 3 for the retro achievements, because I think that's going to be... This took so much time and energy to go through just for these. I don't think I have it in me. So I went over to Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair afterwards. So you...
That's got a Donkey Kong Country vibe for sure.
Oh yeah, like the original Yooka-Laylee was pitched on its Kickstarter as a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, and Impossible Lair is really, really just a Donkey Kong game, a Donkey Kong Country game. Much in the same way that I believe Playtonic was largely formed by some ex-Rare devs. And a lot of what you do in it is very simple to what you would do in a Donkey Kong Country game. You have a roll, you have these pots that shoot you, although you don't engage with them too often. You have swimming segments, swimming levels, and the comparison I would make is the Retro Studios Donkey Kong Country games are much more inspired by the original Donkey Kong Country. They're kind of they're much more straightforward, left to right, just go through this gauntlet of levels. But they're straightforward. When you get to Donkey Kong Country 2 and Donkey Kong Country 3, the reason why I like those ones so much more are because they're much more sprawling. You'll have levels where you're going in all manner of directions. It might be a horizontal level for a while, and then you'll be going up vertically or going down vertically. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is much more in that style. The levels wrap around each other. They can have verticality sometimes. They can just as easily switch to, going horizontal for everything. There are these long segments where you might just be riding on a vine for a while and going above or below it or jumping in order to avoid enemies. some of the interesting nuances and identity that give it its own identity, though, are there are 20 levels on its own, but every level has this alternate version that you can cause something on the overworld to happen to turn it into its alternate version. So in the most basic one, if you if you unblock a river and a level entrance happens to be where that river passes through, that level is now underwater when you go into it next, and it takes you to different portions. It changes the interactions that you can have, and it just makes it into a remixed but largely entirely different level, or at least a different way to have to approach that level. And it's fascinating because they found all of these strange and interesting ways to change these levels up. One of them is like you get you fix a fan that's blowing on the level, and suddenly it's much more gusty whenever you enter the level. One of them is you like the first one in the game. Late in the game, you find a frog, and the frog wants to know, hey, where did I leave my fishing rod? Well, you tell him, well, yeah, it's over by here at the start of the game, and he goes back over there. You interact with him, and he's fishing inside the level entrance, and suddenly he just picks up an entire town inside of it. So whenever you re-enter that level, like all of the buildings are like torn in half, and you need to go through. There's another one where it's you go into one side of the level entrance, and the level goes from left to right, and then you get spit out on the other side. If you go in from that side, suddenly you're completing the level backwards. And it can further be augmented with these unlockable tonics, much like the original Yooka-Laylee. Like, hey, you can get special tonics that do special things. You find them in the overworld. You have to pay for them with the in-game currency. And then they can cause different effects. A lot of them are just like, hey, we put a crazy filter over the camera, or we made it so that there are more checkpoints or something. And they try to balance using those with multipliers on your currency. So you collect for money, you collect these quills. They're like golden quills that you get for unlocking more tonics. And if you equip a good tonic, which makes give you special abilities or makes the game easier in some way, it will put a negative multiplier on the total number that you collect. So you might only be like, hey, all of these are only worth 0.8 now at the end of the stage whenever it calculates it. Or maybe you make the level harder and it's like, okay, now all of these are worth 1.2. So I'm not sure if it works personally, but it does put me in a position where I kind of have builds for different circumstances. Like if I'm trying to find secret coins in the level, I might have one build from that. But if I'm also just trying to, build up money, I might have a different build.
Okay.
But the crux of it is like it's all built around one incredibly difficult level. And all that you're doing is every time that you beat a stage, you unlock a bee that acts as a shield that will be your shield for that level. And I'm going for a bit of 100%. Haven't quite made it there, but yeah, it's real good. It's a real good game. I've had a few false starts over the years on like trying to actually get through it, but it is hitting the things I like about the Donkey Kong Country games. And
okay, yeah, I've heard that it has that effect on people. I've been wanting to do it, but I want to finish the original Yooka-Laylee first, and the original Yooka-Laylee becomes a very bad game deep in from what I
Yeah,
what
it
I've
is not.
noticed.
Oh, this Possible Lair is so much better than the original Yooka-Laylee.
I bounced off really hard from the first Yooka-Laylee. I might have made it through one of the levels and decided I just do not like the way this feels.
I got really deep into the game, in part because I crowdfunded that thing, so that gave me extra incentive. But also, I did eventually find some fun.
But Impossible Lair is it is an incredibly different game. It is a much more interesting game. It still has some rough edges. There are some things I think work on it. The tonic stuff I feel a little bit less. I feel a little bit less solid on it. But it in certain builds it can be fun, or certain circumstances it just feels like, boy, you're giving up a lot to get these special boosts. So, yeah, I like it a lot, and I think I still have the drive to see it through to the end.
That's good.
And hey, we got a new Donkey Kong coming up, so hey.
Yes, we do.
Long days of summer continue.
I'm really hoping we get Donkey Kong 64 and Diddy Kong Racing for the before that comes out.
I mean, they're on good terms with Microsoft, and what is Microsoft doing with them?
Yeah, nothing.
Can't wait for Wreck-It Ralph the game.
Nintendo has both of those games. They at least own Donkey Kong 64 wholesale.
I don't know, Shigs, you brought this up. I want to make sure people are clear with this, for as many jokes are made on the internet. I know, but I want people to understand this. Do we all collectively understand that Wreck-It Ralph is Donkey Kong, right? Do we get that? Because it feels like a lot of people who are making that joke don't seem to understand that, no, Wreck-It Ralph was designed. Wreck-It Ralph is literally arcade Donkey Kong.
Based off Donkey Kong, yes.
So it feels weird that we've gone this weird full circle of people are referencing the thing that people are using new Donkey Kong to reference the thing that references old Donkey Kong. It's friggin' weird. It's baffling.
Yeah, I guess. So just a heads up, the Sonic Stadium site may or may not be down right now.
Oh boy.
It's working for some people in staff, and it's not working for others, including myself.
Let me see.
I am able to access an article on it, so...
All right. Well, this is really weird, then.
The homepage is up.
Okay, so...
Is that just you?
Well, I know at least one of their staffers having an issue. Some other people are saying it's loading slowly. Maybe I need to restart a device because...
It was loading a little slow for me, but not bad.
I don't know.
Because this is...
Okay, well, we'll figure it out. I don't know how our hosting works. Hopefully Dread has an understanding, but it could just be nodes or something that people are having trouble accessing. But that's not really important to this, because
well, it's important for me because at least I use it in the podcast discussion. So
sure, I guess.
So that's why I bring it up, because as far as I know, we all use it to some degree. It's why I link to stuff in the show notes. But in any case,
this first one is not one where you need the article to be able to talk
about it. No,
it's
not. So yeah. So moving on from game talk to Sonic talk, finally. We're going into some Sonic Racing CrossWorld news. Specifically, we had a lot of information coming out about the new rival system recently. And one of the things that SEGA has revealed is that the game will have over 1,000 voice lines across all of the core 24 characters, alongside 500 different rival dialogues, dialogue exchanges.
It reminds me of the Injustice 2 series in that. sense.
Yeah, except this is a friggin' racing game, so it's
Sure.
like this, like there's been a bit of controversy in in the community over this game being $70, but
Eh,
I think it is becoming pretty apparent at this point that they have actually invested quite a lot into this game, just
Yeah,
purely from a production value
I
standpoint.
will
Because
say it looks like they are putting a budget into this, and this is going to be their
I mean,
game, leading into 2026.
if I'm honest, like I would say the same thing about Team Sonic Racing. Like Team Sonic Racing, like don't forget, Team Sonic Racing had a lot of voice acting between like a
Team Sonic
character,
Racing had a story mode, but it was also a
but also
smaller game in terms of scope.
I I don't even know if I would say that. Like, well, it had few.
In terms of number of characters, in terms of the number of vehicles and vehicle customization, in terms of the amount of locations, because
Yeah.
remember, we have a whole bunch of tracks and we have a whole bunch of CrossWorlds on top of that, and we have 10 free DLC characters, each of which will well, actually I think it's 12 free DLC
Okay.
characters, each of which will have their own track. So yeah, the scope is a lot bigger here.
Yeah, it's
Um,
when you lay it out like that, sure. But I just want to I just want to emphasize like they for the amount of content that they were making in that game, they were as thorough with the ways that characters interacted in there as they are
That
being
is
here.
true. That is
Yeah.
one of the few places where I really thought it was an upgrade over All Stars Racing Transformed, was with just the amount of character in the game, and that's something that they seem to have expanded on in this game, even as near as I can tell, they've completely stripped out of story mode. Um, so I don't know, like a bit of a trade off there, but I do think the rival system is pretty cool, as I've said before. And clearly, there's a that they have recorded a lot of lines for this, so it's just gonna be fun just seeing all the different interactions between characters in this game.
I
uh,
I
Shigs, any thoughts from you on that?
That's gonna be fun. I wonder if they'll recognize and just do each character interaction, or is it just gonna be they're gonna have several you
Well,
know particularly default lines, or if they're gonna mention
I
certain characters
know
by name.
I know from the Summer Game Fest demo that each character does address each other specifically.
That's cool.
Their interactions are tailored towards them in the opening of the Grand Prix. Now, what I don't think is going to be as accurate, where I don't think it's going to be as tailored, is going to be during the actual race.
right.
Those lines seem very canned, very generic. They Eggman has one line for when he's winning, one line for when he's losing. I'm going to
Well, that's
execute
just
my
commonplace.
master
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Um, I don't remember him saying, "Ha ha, Wave! Your silly technology is no match for me,"
and
or
and
anything
that
like that.
and that makes sense because Team Sonic
Yeah.
Racing was built their sort of vocal system was built around that, and their interactions were built around the fact that it was a game of team mechanics
Yeah,
and having a sense of like the camaraderie with the team makes a bit of sense. Here it certainly would not make sense to have like
it's more cutthroat.
every other character in every other against every other character in every situation. Probably not as pertinent, especially whenever there's like 24 of them.
Yeah. Now, moving on. Oh yes, actually, before we moved on, I forgot to say. So we also got confirmation that the guest characters will not engage in rival dialogue, and from what we've seen, might not even talk.
Hey, that's
Um,
I'm fine with the rival dialogue absence. That I get why you
That
would
would be
want.
weird if they at least didn't
I'm
shout or
fine
say
with it,
something during
but
the race itself.
could
But
you
then again, that happens
imagine?
sometimes in Disney Speedstorm, where they just don't give the certain characters dialogue so they can save money.
Could you imagine SpongeBob and Shadow having a rival dialogue.
Well, yeah, because the
Wouldn't that
internet
be amazing?
because the internet has been all about that for the last like 2 days. It's the only thing. For me, it's not even like the interactions. Like it's the question of like, okay, you engage with Ichiban's voice actor for a while now. You've worked with him for years. I hope he at least has some dialogue. Like, I don't care if it's the dub or the
I
original
would hope that
Japanese
they would
one,
at
but
least like for the second characters. I would hope that they could at least like get some get some like what's the word
like
generic dialogue from their
think
games
like
and just stick it in
think of
there.
how weird it would be to have no vocalizations from Hatsune Miku. Hatsune Miku doesn't even have a voice actress. She's a digital voice.
Apparently,
Yeah, really.
apparently Hatsune Miku did have dialogue in the trailer. At least I saw someone say that. I didn't go back to
It's not
check
something that I
myself,
noticed, so I don't know.
but like Hatsune Miku, yeah, she doesn't even have a real voice actor, so you would think that they could just like throw her voice in.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like these are like the characters we're talking about now are completely free.
Oh yeah,
So
like
like they're definitely being done on a budget.
I wouldn't be surprised it so okay. So the Sega ones, I would at least expect that. I would expect some amount of voice acting. I is the protagonist is Joker. I haven't played Persona 5 yet. Do they have
He has a voice, but he
okay.
doesn't like talk in most of the game. He just has a few lines that he says in
I
battle.
think
Okay.
I
And
think the reason why they would do such a thing is that one, of course, they got to pay for license of they got to pay for the voice actors
sure.
for all these different characters and everything. That would cost quite a bit of money for Nickelodeon voice actors compared to Sega's in-house voice
Well,
actors.
there's that.
And two, if it's the Sega's in voice actors are guests or not the main Sonic cast, then you want to have everything kind of concise. So it would make more sense if they didn't talk if they're
Well,
a guest racer, I guess, to make it
keep in
more.
mind at this point there's a fair bit of overlap between who is a Sonic voice actor and who is a Persona voice actor. Like we
Yeah,
have hit the point where there is overlap between these two. I for me I look at the SpongeBob stuff and think that could be unfinished, which for any of them could be unfinished.
Yeah, we don't know. Maybe they might still have the voices in.
But also SpongeBob is occurring in the middle of as it's ending, a voice actor strike, and it would shock me if his voice actor was not union.
yeah. And
Yeah.
Sega generally does not work with union voice actors at all. So
So everything else though, I would expect just from a product like this, I would expect them to have reasonable easy access to Ichiban's
yeah.
voice actor.
Again, I would
Joker's
hope that they
voice
could at
actor.
least use canned lines from their games.
Yeah,
Because
that's what I would at least hope. But just for the sake of congruity, like that's what I would want. Like that would be the only thing that really I would be looking for that. So
but I really want to hear like SpongeBob just go, "Hey, you want a Krabby Patty Shadow?" Man. But
yeah,
in any
the problem
case,
is that would be the line for 24 different characters.
want a Krabby Patty Dr. Eggman? There's some egg in it. But anyway, so moving on. So yeah, the Nickelodeon DLC was officially confirmed. At place I predicted it would be confirmed. I
Sure.
was like the only one on
I mean,
staff was all like, "Man, it's gonna be at the Kids Choice Awards,
I wasn't.
definitely."
I mean, I wasn't a naysayer. I just didn't say either way. Like, it's believable that it would have been there.
But like, so I sat through that goddamn thing.
Why
It
did
was
you do
frankly
that?
less because I was the only one available, and like it was
Well,
my
yeah, but
job.
it's one of those things that would go up on YouTube in seconds anyway.
Yeah, it did eventually go up on YouTube, but regardless, we did get to get the first tweet out and everything. I got to upload the video debut from Nickelodeon. I got to get the news article up super fast. So yeah, but regardless, so yeah, I sat through that whole damn thing. It was genuinely not as painful as the video game awards.
That's impressive.
And well, you know what? It has clearly delineated ads,
Yeah.
and frankly, like it was just all the various sticks and everything just were less annoying, if I'm being honest. And then we finally got to the CrossWorlds thing, and that was technically different from the trailer that they uploaded to YouTube. Like these kids from Nick were got this walked up to these different crossworld rings on the walls, and it had two Earth locations, and then it's Sonic Racing Crossworlds, and then they started the trailer and debuted all the Nickelodeon DLC. So we are getting SpongeBob and Patrick, of course, in Bikini Bottom, but they also confirmed uh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. So it's going to be based. It is indeed based off of the latest TMNT cartoon and movie, and also the upcoming Avatar Legends, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Um, and those are going to be the next 3 DLCs after Minecraft. So we'll probably be getting SpongeBob in November, depending on how this stuff is being timed.
Yeah, it sounds like their DLC plans extend for about a year, I think.
I think they confirmed that they have a year of content planned. So it's gonna be 12 free characters, and then six of the season pass characters, and then whether or not it continues beyond that will depend on how well the game has done. So that fingers crossed, honestly. Although I am kind of disappointed. Over half of the season pass is goddamn SpongeBob and Nickelodeon. But hey, you know what? TMNT and Avatar are pretty cool.
I mean, hey, they've picked a variety of things, and I want to emphasize for everyone moaning about SpongeBob, which SpongeBob's fine. I'm fine with SpongeBob.
He's fine.
I am not.
My nephews are going to go nuts.
I am
because they love SpongeBob and they love
SpongeBob is better than Danica Patrick.
That is definitively true. SpongeBob is not politically active in the way that she is. But the thing, we kind of have to collectively understand and appreciate now, because Sonic is in a bigger, healthier place. This is what being a bigger franchise is like.
Yes, it is.
This is about SEGA having these big relationships with other companies that they are, in long-term business agreements with, and finding ways to collaborate that benefit both parties. And
remember the last time Sonic was getting kind of big was at the start of the 2010s. That was when we had Wreck-It Ralph in Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed.
Yeah.
A legit Disney movie character was in there, and also Danica Patrick, which I hated back then and I hate now. Her politics just make it better, easier for me to hate her.
It was funny until it wasn't.
Well, I was at the E3 where they were saying, "Oh, we have got a big announcement for a new character in this Sega crossover game." And I'm imagining all these different Sega characters, and then they show a car on the show floor. I'm okay, I guess the big announcement is a stock car with the game art on it, and then it's and Danica Patrick's gonna be in the game. I'm man,
why did you land on this? Keep in mind now, the funniest thing about that to this day is that it means that there has to be to this day, if you open that game, there is going to be a GoDaddy copyright on there, because that's who she raced under.
But so back then, you got a cool cameo with Wreck-It Ralph, and then you had Danica Patrick, and now it's just like all the cool big characters, and no, like, yeah, we made a random crossover because it just makes sense in
People are
terms of to the marketing.
people are kind of poking at the Sega stuff, and they go, "Why didn't you put this?" I kind of want to
We're getting Sega stuff.
Well, yeah, number one,
Please.
number one, I think people really need to appreciate there are 24 Sonic characters in this game. That is more Sonic characters than in any other game that they have released aside from like the mobile titles.
It is the entire modern cast. Like anyone who has ever been in more than one game is in this game.
Like literally the only one I could think of that could be considered. Even then, it's like it would be slight variations on characters like Mephiles or whatever, or like
there's Marine and Mephiles and Infinite, but they are all one shots who never showed up again.
any characters that are like associated with the modern franchise in a meaningful way are here. We are maybe hearing inklings of like, well, maybe like we saw in the leak that there are at least references to some of the IDW characters. We're getting the Prime characters.
The IDW cast is one of the two big holes in this, the other being the classic characters.
And bluntly, like this of Sega stuff that they've announced at least two of the biggest things that they are trying to sell these days. Like the only thing that they could put in that would be bigger in terms of like what their current big franchises are, or is if we went back to having a Total War and a Football Manager character, which they should do. They should
do it. Like, hey, you know what? If it was in Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed, it should be in this game. And so let's get some Football Manager.
When we just mentioned
Dreams, some Ryo Iizuka,
well,
Shinobi.
Right Star.
I mean that's the kind of stuff where I look at like it makes sense if we don't have Knights. Like we don't really need Knights.
We need Knights.
Knights is not but Knights is not really a character that's part of any current business plan for them. Like it.
No, it's not. It's the Sega Legacy character, so it should be in it.
But I would rather see like a Streets of Rage or a Crazy Taxi or things that would be involved.
Well, Crazy Taxi was also in Transform, so we can have that. I think.
I don't.
It was at least in one of the racing games.
Was it in Crazy? I thought it was in the first one.
No, was it?
It may have been the first one.
Yeah, I think it was the first one.
Yeah, first one had BD Joe. I don't think the second one had BD Joe. But yeah,
we gotta get BD Joe back.
But yeah, like there's I would rather see ones that are reflective of current Sega.
I mean, technically, like a Knight's event was one of the things leaked. So
sure, well.
We're getting something.
I don't know, like, I don't know how much of an event that was, so much as it was like an example of tech or whatever, but I don't think we're having the Sonic Racing Transformed Splatfest of, are you Riala, or are you Knights, or are you a Knightopian, or some nonsense like
I am Riala, I'm a bad boy.
You mean you serve under Big Nightmare Man? You're not your own man.
Yes, I do.
You serve at the behest of the behest of an evil entity.
But like, yeah, like you know what? We are getting Sega stuff. We are definitely getting Shinobi. So
Shinobi would be good. Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to seeing what other free characters we're getting. Like, as you pointed out on Discord, like we don't know what the big newsletter thing is going to be, and I'm crossing my fingers for either some classic characters or like movie characters.
God,
but that seems like something that you'd have to pay for.
I hate the fact that we have to consider the possibility of newsletter characters. I guess that's what the Sega accounts are for now, but God, I hate that.
I mean, at the very least, the newsletter stuff seems to get provided for free after a few months.
Maybe.
So there's that at least.
What I want to know is what high hop characters we're gonna get in this.
Ooh, yeah, let's get IHOP Mephiles.
I think that agreement is over. I don't think we're getting the IHOP character.
You don't want Mephiles in an IHOP costume?
I'm trying to think of what restaurant what retail or restaurant could we hitch them to that will obligate
I
something
mean,
stupid.
Waffle House.
N-
Waffle
Arby's.
House.
oh, I that just feels like you're trying to recreate the IHOP stuff. Like, give me something weirder. Like, what about like Lowe's? What if it's just
All right. Like I guess we could do Hooters.
D-Days in chat brings up the right one. Sonic Drive-In. Yeah, there we go. That we
Yeah.
Do they wear anything at at the Sonic Drive-In?
There's never been a Sonic the Hedgehog promotion through the Sonic Drive-In ever, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's been getting brought up lately.
Like all I can think of is like
I
just give me
guess Sonic Drive-In Shadow, because Shadow has skates.
or just give me the dumb, like I want something dumb out of it in the same way that the Mario Kart 8 got the Mercedes-Benz collaboration for
I
its
don't think
cars.
Sega's desperate enough for that.
No, I don't think so
So,
either, but I want something on that tier of stupid.
So at the same time as we got the trailers for the KCA stuff, we did also get some SpongeBob gameplay footage, which we uploaded to our YouTube. Not much to say about that. I
I
actually thought I put that as just it, but
I will
anyway.
say it looks like still in development. It looks early
so
right now
I don't know
for
if
that footage. Not the footage they showed on the trailer, but the original leaked footage looks a little.
Oh yeah, the leaked footage. Yes, that was from like last November.
I'm kind of a little bit disappointed if I'm honest. Not because it doesn't look fun, but in the leaked footage because it was kind of smeared and grainy and not like perfect. I I thought the stage looked better in that visually than it did whenever we
Huh.
have the big fancy full trailer.
I thought that Bikini Bottom looked pretty good.
I think it looks all right in most places,
Like,
and then in other
okay,
places I can kind of tell like, oh, this
like
is a lower
Squidward is
polygon
kind of low
image.
poly.
Squid,
Squidward's low poly, but
yeah,
you're never gonna see him up that close.
there's something wrong with that Squidward. There's
Like,
something up
he
with that
doesn't have
Squidward.
any animation. He's just a background
No,
element.
that's accurate, but I would want him for I would like him within that context to maybe be a higher poly model. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but he's already pretty big. But anyway, so finally, for Sonic's birthday a couple days ago, we did get local multiplayer confirmed and demonstrated. Um, Now I didn't actually watch the stream myself. I assume it's just pretty standard racing co-op stuff.
Yeah, it's what you would expect from it. They split the screen into 4 ways, and I think the most interesting part of it is uh, the multiplayer supports Grand Prix, and
Oh, so you like have rival stuff there too?
yeah,
I guess.
I believe that the first player is the one that the interaction cutscene happens with, but you know, it does have the rival in the version that in the demonstration that they showed. I believe the 4 people who were playing did so as Sonic, Tails, Jet, and Cream. And it was a Sonic and Knuckles interaction, and I believe Knuckles was just the more challenging rival character for all players. Not like just like hey, it's like it's aggressive.
Okay, so like the rival character for the first player is the rival character for everybody.
I mean,
all right, that makes sense.
I mean, we don't know if like the rival character is specifically aggressive against a specific character. We just
they are. I know that they are at least the most
they're more
talented
difficult.
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, they're more difficult, but you don't need it to be more like you can't just make it more difficult to one player unless you know specifically have behaviors attached to that computer to make it so.
Like they target you or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if they do that.
Like it would be just as simple as saying, well, everyone else is set to 1 out of 10 difficulty. This guy's 2 out of 10, and like you wouldn't need to do anything special to have it be a rival for 4 people if it's just slightly harder than the other ones. Much in the same way that, like, hey, in Mario Kart, you're always going to have the person that if you're going to be in first, they're going to be in second. You need to beat them specifically.
So moving on to the Sonic Mobile corner. This is mostly going to be about Sonic Blitz, which I had unexpectedly good time with over the last few days after that, because it got a new update which added a bunch of cards, and it came out in Brazil, which seems to have resulted in it at getting like actual human players in the game instead of just some easy AI, which took me off guard. So it added Bean the Dynamite, Chip, King Boom Boo, Silver the Hedgehog, Sir Galahad, Storm the Albatross, and Tikal the Echidna. And also, he does not appear to be unlockable per se, but he is in the game in some capacity because Professor Fukuroka from Tails Adventure is also an active card. At least I have been killed by him. Haven't unlocked him yet. Um, and so uh, now that like we have a larger set of cards and a slightly bigger ecosystem and actual human characters, I'm getting a better feel for the kind of game that this is, and it's kind of interesting to me that like it has. I'm sure this is probably very normal for card games. Like, again, as I said last time, I do not play these games. So, like, for me, this is all brand new. I suspect I would probably like other games in the genre at this point. But there is, like, a lot of strategic element, a big strategic element to this game where you're choosing between, like, short run, turn by turn actions and like while also trying to kind of build up to a larger strategy without getting absolutely annihilated by your opponent. Um, so it's like so it's like you can like use cards to attack the other player super quick, but you're generally not going to do a whole lot of damage. Or you can like there's a lot of incentive to sort of build up your deck between the two lanes on the field because there are certain cards that will like boost your attack every turn, uh, Pachacamac. The moment I get him, I always put him down because like once he's down on the field, he at the end of every turn he will increase the attack of every other card across both of your lanes. But there are other characters like Wave who will like are good to put down just for when you're going to attack because they boost your attack at, when you dash the characters. Uh, and so it's like you've got these you've got this I've gotten really good at like building up my offensive capability, but there's also a defensive aspect to this game that I've begun to understand, where it's like you have to kind of know when to strategically dash your characters in order to like block an attack from the opposing player. And so it's like when both players dash at the same time, you if you have the whole lane, if both lanes are entirely filled up, all the characters just attack each other, and you don't get any damage. And if you were building up those characters effectively by like boosting up their health and their attack with support cards, then they will survive the attack. Um, but like if you don't, then of course your side will get completely annihilated. Then any surviving cards from your opponent will then be free to attack you next round. But there, in addition to that, like you can also like just play the game purely defensively with lots of cheap cards, because putting those down and launching them once your opponent has a full deck, and it's like you'll lose the cards, but because they're so cheap, you can like replace them really quickly. And I'm probably not explaining this well, because but like I just like I had this one match where like my guys and their guys were constantly just attacking each other and slamming into each other, and like eventually I was able to come out on top and successfully launch an attack that didn't take them out, but at least got their health lower than mine. So at the end of the round, I was able to win.
Just like a chip
And
damage fight.
yeah, chip damage fight.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you feel do
so
you
it's like there's
do you feel like
what you say?
do you feel like there's obviously whenever I started there, one of the complaints complaints. One of the concerns I had was that it didn't feel like there was a lot of card variety yet. Do you feel like you're
Well,
getting a sense of builds coming out of this, that people building to different
at the
archetypes?
as things stand, the main thing that's driving my builds are missions, because the missions will like you'll get missions that like tell you, hey, use a 4 energy card 20 times or 2 times, and it's like that will like incentivize me to potentially like put a whole bunch of 4s or 1s in my deck, just so that I can like get down on that mission, and then like I also end up changing my strategy for that. But like but like by and large, like I don't have multiple builds. Instead, what I tend to do is I just adjust my one build to like, okay, I notice that I often don't have a card to launch during turn 3, because I only have like 1 or 2 3 cards, and so I like have to sacrifice one of the other one of the other energy level cards in order to get another 3 in there. And so there is that kind of balancing, like keeping your deck balanced so that you at least always have something to put on the field. Because when you don't put anything on the field, then you just waste the whole turn and all the energy and everything. Then your opponent will get an advantage.
So, real quick, since we have a kind of a hard stop time tonight, how do you feel about blitzing through some news?
That's fine. So, Sonic Dream Team got some new content updates, as I revealed kind of off the cuff last night. It just took the form of some costumes and another Shadow the Hedgehog mission level for Ego City, and it's just like another a reward track, which that this is now the third reward track this game has, and I have already completed it, because it was only like 2,400 points worth of rewards this time. But the costumes are pretty neat. I have video footage of them up on
They're
YouTube.
they're they're high they're
Um,
higher poly versions of the existing
yeah,
costumes from
they
your
are.
other stuff. Yeah.
And Neo Metal Sonic is also arrived on mobile. Because of course Neo Metal Sonic has basically only ever appeared in cutscenes, his entire move set is built around the lightning. Because in the Sonic Heroes CG intro, he has a he like lightning shooting down around him, and so he fires lightning. He has lightning mines hit the field. He hits players with lightning bolts. And in Sonic Dash, when you boost, you actually get a lightning effect, which is for Sonic Dash kind of unique, because they don't normally do any unique effects for those characters. um, so like they took like this one little cutscene and built the whole moveset out of it, and it really makes me wish they did more of actual Neo Metal Sonic, because man, they did not have much to go on. So going into Sonic news. Um, Takashi Iizuka talked about the state of the Sonic brand when he came to the U.S. in 2015. Um, now, this was the one. Now, this was one where I was really hoping to have Sonic Stadium up for that, because I don't entirely remember what he said. I know that he was disappointed with the brand, with where the brand was.
10 years ago, I moved from Tokyo to Burbank. At that time, the Sonic brand was not in a very positive space. A lot of people were bashing on the brand. They really weren't happy with things coming out. It goes on when I think.
And of course, that was. This was, of course, around the time of Sonic Boom had just come out, and that was a bit of a disaster. Like, I think the games themselves were perfectly fine,
I
but
think, yeah, generally speaking, they were rated fine. Like, for all the people who are kind of super excited for the nature of like Sonic Unleashed these days, it's worth emphasizing, like, that is kind of part of that era. Like, that didn't come out of nothing. Like, they did not approach sort of a rebranding through Sonic Boom for no particular reason. Like, the series was not in a particularly strong or healthy place. It was coming off of things like Sonic 06 and Sonic and the Black Knight. And
well, like the franchise had recovered decently after that with Sonic Colors and Generations.
a bit,
but like it still wasn't where it was in the early 2000s, where of course we had Sonic X and the adventure ports, and the games were like top sellers on the GameCube.
And they certainly
and so with Sonic Boom, there was an effort to like make it a multimedia franchise again.
And there's a logic to that. Like, if you look at where the series is now, it's heavily off the back of, going for a multimedia approach, going for a transmedia property strategy.
Movies, cartoons.
The difference being largely that they have found better, stronger partners for this wave of it than they did with Sonic Boom. For Sonic Boom, they worked with Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network seemed maybe interested at first, but then extremely, extremely uninterested very quickly.
It wasn't Teen Titans Go enough, you see.
It wasn't we own this, you see.
Well, so it was actually funny.
But like Sonic Boom, the Wii U version was the most visible game, and it was also like the most broken the most broken game. Like, it was admittedly mostly visual glitches, but regardless, that stuff just hit it big on YouTube. Everyone saw it, and like it gets completely wrecked.
It killed that franchise instantly, just that game alone.
Yeah, it's like,
I mean, Shattered Crystal wasn't that much better, but it took till like Fire and Ice till we actually got a really good Sonic Boom game.
Even
by then it was too late.
I wouldn't even say it's very good. It just felt felt like a cartoon tie-in game. Like, it felt like a better one of those, but it never really escaped feeling like a cartoon tie-in game.
Yeah, like
Rise of Lyric did not necessarily feel that way. It felt like it was at least trying for something, but the problem is what it was trying for, it both could not accomplish and still was just sort of a pretty basic beat 'em up. Like,
well, that is what I would say was like felt like a cartoon spin-off game to me, because a lot of those were just basic spin-off with some platforming elements.
But it didn't. But it did not feel like you're usually defined by being a cartoon spin-off in that way, by being incredibly basic. And I think Rise of Lyric did not have that. It felt like the characters certainly had a bit more diversity of moveset. It's just that it wasn't always in service of something that made a lot of sense or didn't necessarily, like, it felt very it felt like effort and thought was put into it, but not so much effort and thought that came up with something distinct for what it wanted to be or try to be.
But regardless, like, this was like, at this point, we had a couple of really good Sonic games with Generations and Colors. But before that, we still had all of the crap from the 2000s that had just completely killed the franchise's reputation. And then we had Lost World, which I really liked, but I know a lot of other people didn't. And Lost World 3DS, which was bad. And then we had the whole Sonic Boom sub-franchise failure. I still freaking
hate the meta era label that people put on things. That's the most
Yeah,
BS label.
thankfully that has largely gone away. I have not heard anyone use that in a couple of years.
I still hear it brought up in discussion. I think it's a bad label. I don't think it's representative of where the franchise was at. I just feel like it is overused to denote a period of time in which two writers that a series of Sonic fans vehemently hate you basically want to
They
reference.
hating and flinch.
Eh.
But you know, I feel like the Sonic managed to get back some goodwill and then immediately squandered it with a bunch of like games that just weren't received well. And that's the kind of situation that Takashi Iizuka came to the US under when they set up Sonic Pillar. And even after they set up Sonic Pillar, we still had Sonic Forces, which was yet another middling game. But it does seem like overall, like Iizuka coming to the US and Sonic and all the Sonic branding stuff centralizing in the US did ultimately do a lot of good for the franchise.
Well, they effectively took like 4 years off. Like they let people miss Sonic for a bit.
Yeah, they did, and
That's true.
It's definitely helped. So so moving on. Okay. We do have some sales numbers. That most of
unexpectedly
which got leaked.
unexpectedly.
Yes. So the sales numbers that we were supposed to get were for Sonic Shadow Generations, which that game is now up to 2.3 million sold across all platforms.
Which isn't that far removed from whenever they made their last 2025 investor report.
I do not believe that would be counting the Switch 2 figures, whatever those may be.
We are not. We would not even have numbers for that. It's been too recent.
Yeah, but this was apparently from a management
NAFU
meeting PDF, which also included a bunch of leaked sales numbers that were not supposed to be included.
Poorly redacted, we'll say.
Yes. Which included Sonic Frontiers, which apparently, as of fiscal year 2025, which would have ended March 2025, it sold 610,000 physical units, 610,000 units last fiscal year.
So
up for a total of 4.570 million. Units.
So launch year is 1.8 million. I am a little surprised that.
Well, you're looking at Persona 5 Royal right now.
No, I'm looking at
Frontiers launch.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at Superstars. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because the launch year for Frontiers was 3.2 million, then 760,000 for the year after, and 610,000 after that.
I'm a little bit shocked with Sonic Frontiers that it was considered a sales disappointment, because I look at that game.
You mean Superstars
did well.
But
he meant to say Superstars.
What did I say?
Oh, okay.
Frontiers. He said Frontiers.
Yeah, so, like they announced like, hey, we thought Sonic Superstars was a sales bust, but 1.8 million for that game is, in my mind, legitimately good. Like, it doesn't look like they're doing anything particularly expensive with that game. It just makes me think that they thought the rising tide of Sonic Frontiers would lift all ships, and no,
as we've said before, I definitely think that Sonic Superstars was expected to do much better than it did.
If you compare that to some of the other stuff, like it does better than almost every other Yakuza that they release in a year by a wide margin, and I could
and like this game had to have been profitable if the Yakuza games are profitable.
Yeah. It just seems like unrealistic expectations.
It has sold, and it sold a total of 2.4 million units.
Yeah.
So that's pretty solid.
Like on this list, it's the second best selling opening year of a Sonic title. Like Well, except for
Now,
Sonic X Shadow Generations.
well, yeah, but
Yeah.
that's technically not on the leaked list that we're looking at.
Yeah.
But anyway, but Team Sonic Racing, that one didn't do all that well, like for its opening year, but it did like
It
manage to
continued.
kind of keep going.
Yeah, it had
Like,
legs.
Yeah.
That's realistically what I would expect from CrossWorlds is not so much like how it does in launch year, but I could see them reasonably maintaining.
so like it sold 1.38 million in its first fiscal year, came out in like May 2019, so it had most of that year to sell, but it has now sold a total of 3.5 million, which is pretty solid. Again,
I think the thing I find it most fascinating in this list is the fact that per, the remaster for Persona has caused it to sell minimum 1.6 million every year since the Royale remaster came out. That's ridiculous.
like it is now sold
Wow.
like it is now sold 7.2 million units. It's like the best-selling game, I think. That, like, I guess on the Sega's list, period.
Yeah.
So like, you definitely tell why they lean so much into Persona 5,
And
because damn.
I think that's what it would be. 2020 would be when it launched on PlayStation, and then 2023 would be when it launched on like Switch and everywhere else.
It launched on PlayStation like 2017.
Right, yeah. That's an old
like
game.
it took it a long time to come to other platforms.
Right. Atlas published it themselves initially, and then Royale is whenever Sega took over the publishing for it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So so yeah, like it really makes me wish that they would like just officially release these sales figures, because I'm really wondering like how well did Sonic Forces do over the last 8 years?
I want to know. I want to know Sonic Colors Ultimate. That's the stuff I want to know.
So moving on to Sega news real quick, because I don't think we'll have too much to say about this one, but Sega is launching a second Sega store in Tokyo, which makes me kind of happy, because that means that it should eventually hopefully come to the West as well.
I wouldn't assume that.
They had a pop-up shop for Los Angeles like launch like this week, and I was so angry, because it's like, why didn't you do that when I was there for Summer Game Fest? Why don't you wait until after? God damn it. But yeah, like, so it does look like Sega does plan on spreading these stores around. Shiggs, what were you gonna say?
I said, yeah, you're right. It would have been nice to have it, during that time.
So and Sega, okay, GX, you're the one who covered this one. Sega pursuing location-based entertainment, which I think basically just means they want to do a Sonic theme park.
In the US, which really interests me.
GX, are you there?
Sorry, I lost audio for a second.
Okay, I was getting a little worried.
Yeah, my thing's weird. It does that every so often. Not often, but every so often.
All right, do I need to repeat myself?
Maybe. Did you prompt me to do something?
So yes, I did. So Sega is pursuing location-based entertainment in the U.S., which presumably means that they want to do a Sonic theme park of some sort.
I'm assuming you're queuing me up to say no, they're not.
Oh, okay. What are they doing then?
Who frickin' knows? Location-based entertainment could be frickin' anything. Like,
I saw like a roller coaster on the feature image, so I assumed that meant Sonic theme park.
Well, it could be another, Sega Joyopolis or Club Sega.
So what you're saying, just like at least one or two of the people who decided to comment on this, you looked at an image, and then the image that I put up was Alton Towers, my dude.
I don't know what Alton Towers looks like.
No.
I just saw a roller coaster.
No, they're not.
In any case, I haven't had time to read it yet, so, like, what exactly did the article say? Because I can't look at it now.
Okay, yeah. Attractions Magazine interviewed someone who basically they manage a themed entertainment company. The CEO of that, Roberta Perry, and she said, "Hey, Sega, I'm working with Sega right now. They're looking to bring location-based entertainment to the U.S. market for the first time, and kind of like." That could literally be anything. Like location
Okay,
based.
well, what Sega needs to do is they need to like just make an Eggman Land with
No,
with like a
look,
Casinopolis
I'm not. I
area.
I look. The game, the parks do well. The games are doing better than they are. Sonic is not big enough for its own Nintendo Land. Super
Says
Nintendo
you.
World. I'm sorry. I don't think we're getting that. Maybe we're getting a themed ride in an existing theme park or something, in the same way that Sega licensed the Sonic brand for the Alton Towers. Uh, but also like location-based entertainment could be literally anything. It could be anything from like theme parks to theme park rides to like, hey, we set up an immersive theater experience to we created this specialty VR ride that is going into certain locations to hey, we have mascot meet and greets. And like she brought up in the interview that hey, one of the big things was the appeal of Sonic, which she witnessed through some of the meet and greets at like amusement park convention that Sega put a
Or what
lounge
about that
in.
like pro golf thing where they have a whole
Yeah,
Sonic?
exactly. Like that would be along the lines of something that would be location-based entertainment. Location-based entertainment is literally like, hey, there's a physical space, we put an entertainment-focused event in there. If you've ever been to an escape room is a location-based entertainment. If
Well, what I want is I want a Sega version of Nintendo Land that has attractions for Sonic, and I also want like a Shinobi shuriken throwing thing, and like maybe a thing where I get to ride a Panzer Dragoon Dragon,
I mean, you can
and I don't know, Nice and Dreams
I
VR.
mean, you can want whatever the frick you want. It doesn't mean you're getting it.
I know. Maybe we could get like I don't know, real life, whatever the Yakuza town
You're
is.
like an we'll say a 6-year-old girl planning her wedding, and I'm gonna go to the Yakuza thing, and I'm gonna throw the shurikens, but nobody else can do the shurikens before me. I get to do them first, and then we're gonna go into the Nights into Dreams, and it's gonna be like a flying ride. It's just like sure, you can want that. It's incredibly unrealistic, and I'm sure a lot of people have incredibly unrealistic visions of what this is going to be. But
I need a Yakuza town with real life street fight performances.
with real life hookers, call girls.
Sure, that too.
You can go there and they'll have the oh geez, what is that bar where you
Karaoke.
go? No, well yeah, definitely karaoke, but where's the bar that you go in just to talk with women?
I
Cabaret or
not
something.
remember. No,
They'll have the real cabaret. And
but
you can really honestly legitimately get hit with a bicycle for real. Sign this waiver before entering.
okay. Yes. So anyway, so moving on to the next thing.
The next thing.
This is a thing that I covered, so I know all about this. There is a fundraiser to save those Sega and Sonic 3DS and DS prototypes that I talked about last month and wrote about last month. They need to raise £61,000 by early August.
Yeesh.
Yeah. From what I can gather, this is like something that came out of negotiations with the seller. I thought that was like from what I got the impression that it's going to be like paid through installments, but apparently the seller just wants a lump sum. But this is what they have to do now to save these prototypes from collectors and dump them to for the public. So like this is the lot. This is the lot that like has Rhythm Thief DS and all of those Sonic and all those different like Sonic prototypes, like Sonic Chronicles, Colors, Generations, and like Shinobi 3D, Thor, Iron Man 2, all that stuff. So like loads. Oh, and Jambo Safari, which I didn't even know that had a DS version. Um, so yeah. Once our website is back up, you'll be able to go there to read up on it. I don't want like talk about it too much here because like frankly I would just kind of be recovering ground from last month. And like listing out just what games are available, but just know that the fundraiser is currently ongoing, and if you want a prototype, you can apparently get one randomly if you pay £200, and you can choose one if you donate £1,000. Now, this is like what they're saying. I cannot like vouch for anything here. I just know that like, you know, this is a real thing. So like, if you can donate that much or want to donate that much, like, hey, you know, help them save some prototypes. So moving on to some fan news. Which so we all are at least aware of Sonic Smackdown, I'm sure, the Sonic 2D fighting game. I know I haven't really had much of a chance to play it personally.
I have
Like,
I have only watched it in the context of two computer opponents playing it in a Twitch game show themed program that I love.
This seems like something that'd be mostly up Shigs' alley, but I'm assuming you haven't checked
I
it out.
played. Is that the 2D fighter one?
Yeah, it's a 2D Sonic fighter.
Yeah, I played that.
It seems
Okay.
flashy.
It is very flashy. It's got like specials and stuff, and
It has
so
like specials and stuff.
Hey, I'm a very casual fighting game player.
I love the way that Ryu does his special in Street Fighter. It's the thing I like best about Street Fighter is the specials.
But regardless,
Nice.
so they announced a sequel for Sonic's birthday called Ultimate Sonic Smackdown, which adds 3-on-3 fight tag team fighting. And will also have rollback netcode online play. So it's currently in early access. Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, Mecha Sonic Mark II, and Eggman in a new mech are all playable. And I do hope to actually give it a look soon because I'm trying to like, you know, keep up with the big fan game stuff for our YouTube channel. But it looks just as fun as the original. So, but yeah. So I don't have much else to say about that except you know go check that out. I guess.
Yeah, I mean it looks neat.
Yeah.
Like I said, it looks flashy. Seems fine.
Hopefully it'll be at this year's sale because that'll give me the perfect excuse to check it out.
I should check out the original. That seems it seems neat.
Yeah.
I hope it's reasonably playable and friendly to people who don't know a whole lot about fighting games or at least don't eat, sleep, breathe them.
Well, only Shigs would know the answer to that. Shigs
It's
would
pretty solid. It is a pretty solid fighting game.
Yeah, but it's user friendly.
If you played like, oh, you mean is it easy to set up on your laptop? Or
no, it's easy to pick up as a game.
Yes, if you not know Street Fighter or Dragon Ball Z Fighters,
that's
or
all
that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah,
you can. Then you can play it pretty easy.
Okay.
So the final two news items. First one is one I'm very happy about. CoroCoro, the CoroCoro Sonic mangas, the new ones, are getting localized into English. And I kind of read this as part of them begging people not to spread the pages around because they have been very, very ornery about that. To the point where we got copyright struck for just sharing the goddamn preview that like teased teased it back in May. Like
I
it wasn't even the proper pages. Goddamn it, we got copyright struck for that
I'm
on
wondering.
You
Twitter.
get copyrighted for sharing a piece of a trailer, you know?
Yeah.
I suspect I have suspicions that this might be a cultural thing, but
It is a cultural thing. Like Japanese publishers are infamous for
yeah.
being very touchy about this stuff. But that still doesn't mean I'm not going to be
Oh,
annoyed.
sure,
But
absolutely,
regardless,
but
I am glad that we're at least getting an English version, so there's less of a reason to share the existing fan translations. Although in the future, I do hope to discuss those here. So but we'll see.
sure.
Um, but the manga did launch a couple weeks ago. I haven't looked at it yet. I just know that Sonic does talk to a human child.
Perfect.
um, so
That
like soon I guess we'll have like well actually we want to have 3 different comics because DC will be done by then. Um, but anyway,
DC will
speaking
never
of
be
DC,
done. It will never end.
yeah, because it is getting a fourth. The first issue is getting a fourth
They
reprint.
can't stop reprinting it. There's no electricity in the state where it's being printed anymore. Like we think that it's spitting out blood at this point. It's just red and it smells bad, but we don't know what's happening to the printing presses. It keeps making these issues again and again. They won't stop. It just keeps coming
And
out.
like a couple weeks ago, I know that it was being spread around that hey, this other thing is a fourth reprint, but it was just like some special issues that
It's
was
like
gonna have like some special hand drawn art from some guy.
And it's like the new
But
comics, they're printed in this weird satanic language now. Like it just keeps happening. Like it won't stop.
and in addition to that, they also just use stock art for the covers because they're not putting any money into these reprints. They are just like reusing stock art to
May-
keep
maybe it's a
get people to buy again, I guess.
maybe it's a printer attached to a Gen AI model. And that's the only thing it was
Yeah.
fed, and therefore that's the only thing it knows how to produce.
Well, this one is Superman Knuckles or whatever he's called.
Beautiful. Graphic design is my passion.
So like I've never heard of a Sonic comic getting reprinted this many times, so I can only assume that this is a financial success. Unfortunately,
I can
because
imagine, yeah.
Diamond is dead, we don't have any estimates for sales figures. At least no good ones.
Can I
Um,
make a suggestion?
yes.
Uh, what if we returned in 2 weeks, and that is whenever we talked about the new comics?
I mean, in 2 weeks
Oh,
we're
I got a
gonna.
little bit of a little bit of time because I mean I did plan out my day to read these comics before the
I would
podcast and
prefer to
wrap
get
up.
into them now.
Can we fit
So
that into
shit.
time?
So
Yeah, I
Shigs,
think so.
are you willing to stick around for comic talk?
Yeah, I
All
got about
right.
15 more minutes, and then I'll head out after that.
Okay. So IDW Sonic 79. This one is the big finale for the rivalry between Whisper and what's his face? Mimic. I keep forgetting his
He
name.
is literally
And
what's his face though.
true. Um
Yeah,
so like we knew going in from the solicitations that this was going to be their final showdown. And at least by the standards of IDW Sonic, I guess that's the case because, like, well, Mimic's freaking dead now. uh, I'm just gonna just say that now. He's dead. Um, at least so far as the comic and the characters are concerned. So the whole thing was just Whisper and Mimic first, meeting up, and Mimic, of course, trying to trick Whisper by disguising himself as Cream, and even knowing what Cream's real mother's name is, and I really do enjoy the bit of tension that they managed to build there, because technically they're both original characters, so either of them could conceivably die. I don't know, like I was sure it was going to be Mimic. So but regardless, for what the comic is, I think they did a pretty decent job building up the tension between them in that scene. Uh, which of course was what was released when Whisper springs her trap, which is Silver just floating both of them in some furniture up into the air, and that just starts a whole chase through uh through their location, which is it's in the Rainbow Canyon from the 900th adventure special from a little while back. And so the most of the issue is the chase, and that it's pretty exciting and cool. And
And it is cool how Whisper did get this all set up with Silver
yeah,
and Tangle in
like
advance. Tangle's that was the lookout, and Silver's the one, of course, is going to grab that
and
Minik.
yes, and so they set up a whole track for him that included Tangle being able to identify when Mimic changed into a different character to try to disappear into the crowd.
So would you say it was probably a satisfying ending to that at
Um,
least ongoing storyline?
by and large, I think the issue was pretty good, but I am gonna have to agree with the overall consensus that the ending felt like it needed more time, which is so often the case with this comic book when it's a single issue story, because it's these aren't very long comics. For like 20 pages.
Does
Um,
did
I did like the writing in this issue. I did like how their dialogue during the initial meetup between the two, and he thought he was, she was working alone again with her gun out of reach, and of course it was all a set up on her end. And then I like with when she was finally freed of him, and she was telling about the other people how she's finally avenged. She stopped whispering during that particular moment. She was
hmm,
able to be happy, and then went
yeah,
back to whispering after that. That was really nice.
but
Plus, I am not 100% sure he's dead, although did look like he pretty much blew up. But there's a little bit of
I'm
water
sure
running right at the end,
the
and
thing
plus
about
the fact. Well, let me see one more thing. Plus the fact he
sorry.
kept talking about how he did what he did for survival. But in the end, when he was caught and cornered, he tries to blow him and her up at the end.
Well, the thing about this is that one, it's laid out pretty clearly that this is supposed to be their final confrontation. And this
Right.
was also basically how Starline died, where technically we never saw a body. Like, it that's generally how IDW Sonic seems to kill off its characters.
that could I mean
Wherein
that could also just it might not even be like it might not even be something to make it definitive. Like it could still be definitive, but it could just
but
be
You
we
just don't
Sega's
don't
want
want to
anything gruesome in a children comic.
exactly.
well Archie Sonic was perfectly capable of doing more
Art this
definitive
is this
deaths.
is not Archie Sonic though.
I
Like the
know, but
stand
regardless, it's still the same age group. And Archie Sonic also had to deal with the Comics Code Authority for most of its run. Um,
but this is a different Sega than it was during that time, and it has
but
different brand management expectations.
regardless, yes. So I do think that there is a trend of IDW killing off a character, but doing so in a way where they make sure it's for one, the heroes do not do the actual killing, which was also the case here. Like Whisper was going to shoot uh, Mimic, but Mimic instead stabbed this energy gem, which he was using to fly around. Starline's whole thing. Um, and that set off an explosion that sent him down into the river, where he presumably died upon impact or something if the explosion didn't kill him. But but the death was kept ambiguous, and it was done basically by the character to the character, and that seems to be if I had to guess, that is the requirement for IDW to kill off a character. Which is understandable for a children's book, even though I do think children's books are generally able to get away with a little more than that. But I do wonder if Sega is also keeping things a little vague, in part so that the door can still be open for them to bring these characters back in the future, much like they did
Possibly.
with the Warp Topaz, which Sega very specifically said they not want it to be destroyed so they could use it in the future. And so that does make me wonder if that kind of what's going on here. But regardless, what ultimately kind of is the story's big flaw to me is that in the previous issue, they do set up Whisper wanting to kill Mimic and Tinkle not wanting her to kill Mimic as a conflict. But then when it's finally about to come to a head, it essentially just self-resolves, and there's no drama, nothing happens. And
because she doesn't
Mimic,
have to. He kills himself.
yeah, Mimic basically kills himself. And that again, IDW keeps doing that, where like there's an opportunity for character drama, and then they kind of just cut it short or take the easy way out. And that is detrimental to the story.
I agree. I do think that there's a lot of we want to resolve stories within a much shorter span of time. I like don't get me wrong. I'm gonna sit here and say like, yeah, I like that Archie comics could have long ongoing issues, and IDW has some of them, but for the type of audience that they're trying to court, it probably makes a bit more sense to at least, have something that can resolve while you still have an audience that's keeping up with it, or at least can onboard continuously.
Honestly, I don't really think the Mimic storyline was something that was begging to be resolved. I
Sure.
think it did show some level of guts to resolve it, if I'm being honest, because this is generally not something that Sonic franchise does. But I do feel like this storyline needed about 5 more pages for there to be some kind of at least brief character conflict over Whisper's intention to kill Mimic. And that still could have ended in the same place where Mimic basically ends up killing himself. But, give us some character drama to make the storyline more engaging. Actually do something with what they set up in the previous story, in the previous comic. But
Yeah, there was not only her, but Silver kind of wanted to kill him too.
Yeah, and Silver does seem like the kind of guy who would be willing to do that.
Well, that's the question. Like, I'm still behind. I'm not keeping up with it.
Yeah,
right
we
now.
know.
But it raises the question of like, okay, does this make any meaningful movement on Silver's whole reason of being here? Because it kind of felt like they let go of that for a while and just like, no, we just want to have Silver around.
I don't really think the comic has any reason for Silver to be here. I think he's just
he was there. No, his whole like premise is like he came back in time because he had to find the what's it called, the
traitor
or whatever. Yeah, that apparently wrecked. Yeah, you don't remember that way back when?
I don't remember that. No.
Then he ends up being stuck in time, and he's not sure why he's still there.
Yeah,
I know that was a storyline from Archie.
It's a Knuckles situation. Why does Knuckles constantly leave Angel Island to hang out with
his
friends instead of guarding his?
In IDW, he does it. And
he does leave Emerald. He does things.
This does nothing to resolve Silver's thing, no, but it does resolve Whisper's thing, and it does at least give room for them to maybe move her forward a little bit. But regardless, like, I feel like this either need a few more pages to deal with that conflict I mentioned before, or frankly, this could have very easily carried its own story arc in a hypothetical mini-series or second book that does not exist for reasons we've discussed before.
Well, okay. Rather than
regardless,
rather than speculate, let's just say you felt the pacing didn't hit. instead of inventing
Like,
comics
I
that don't
basically
exist.
already said that. I
Yeah.
just want to those are my two views. It either needed to be a little longer or a lot longer, be its own proper thing. So, Shakes, you have anything else to add?
No, that's about it. I mean,
I-
it was pretty short, one and done. It got straight to the point, kind of story.
Yeah,
I
but by and large, I have been a lot happier with IDW over these past 6 months than I have been for like years since like the virus arc ended.
I think we should save DC talk for next episode.
Okay, Shiggs, you want to save that for later?
Yeah, I think that's fine. We don't need to constantly talk about everything. I guess we can save that for next week.
All right.
I will say it was not. It was still a fun issue, but not as good as 3. 3, I think, was where the plateau of this.
No, if we're
series.
saving it to talk, we can save the talk for next episode.
Shiggs, are you
That's
able
all
to,
I'm gonna say.
Shiggs, are you able to stick around for another 10 minutes?
I don't trust us to keep it to 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I
let's go ahead.
I don't think we have that much to say about it, if I'm being honest.
I don't trust us to keep it to 10 minutes.
All right. I guess we'll save this for next time.
We can talk about one comic an episode. That's fine. That's sustainable.
So close to 2. You're finally gonna do 2.
I know, but unfortunately, I do have to go pretty soon.
All
Real
right.
soon.
Hey, our opinions are our own, but everything that we do is under the banner of Sonic Stadium over at sonicstadium.org, one of the internet's longest running Sonic fan communities. We've got news coverage, including almost all of the stories that we talked about tonight, as well as a vibrant forum community. We have video that we take, including plenty of footage of the latest Sonic service games, their new costumes and cards and all that jazz over on our YouTube. We have Twitch streaming every week, much as you're watching right now, where our various hosts, mostly me, manage to do things like have a radio show on Fridays with plenty of requests, or our weekly Wednesday streams where if we're not podcasting, then we're playing some sort of Sonic game and checking it out. So stay up on our Twitch, on our social medias, on our website. Again, they're all can be found over at sonicstadium.org.
And you can also catch my own features and articles on the website when it's back up for everybody. I'm pretty sure it's not just me, which will hopefully be soon.
Sure.
So until next time,
peace, y'all.
We'll see you later.
See you later.